Hello, I think we're live. Hello? Hello, people. I think we are live. I think we are live. I'm going to try one thing here real quick. Hold on, let's get the shorts and working here. Copy, paste that. And let's try this. This is the shorts end of things. Sweet. Alright, we're live, people. How's it going? How is it going? Okay. Alright, so I want to try something different and new this morning. I haven't done one of these in a while. I haven't done my typical, typically when I do my sports little talk and yap fest, it's usually after work. Games are either going or games are already over at that point. So we kind of save it for like a nightly wrap up, nightcap sort of thing. But I wanted to try something new as I got work in about an hour. So I was like, you know what? Let's just run through all the sports we can and try to give some sports picks, make a couple videos, post about that, like some videos on topic that we'll talk about as we'll talk about Trevor Lawrence's injury that happened the other day, him getting carted off the field. I'll talk probably briefly a little bit about Christian McCaffrey's injury and then them 49ers. And then Ryan Day, whether or not I think he's going to get fired, because I think that's the loudest thing going on in college football right now. That and everybody complaining about the brawls, which, whatever. And then we'll probably do some sports picks throughout the day with the games that are happening today in the NHL and the NBA. And then we'll just wrap it up and call it that. So let's jump into some picks that I have today. Let's go to the NBA. Again, I have no clue who plays, and we're just trying to get the wheels going here. I haven't done one of these in so long. You hear that? Sounds like the garbage truck's coming down the road. Don't give me that. Come on. How do you do? Okay. Monday, December 2nd. Okay, here we go. So we have the Pelicans against the Hawks. I mean, the Hawks did beat the Cavs the other day, so I'm going to roll with the Hawks on that one. The Heat against the Celtics. This one's going to be in Boston. Yeah, give me the Celtics. And then the Brooklyn Nets against the Bulls. Give me the Nets. Lakers against the T-Wolves. Give me the Timberwolves. Give me the Timberwolves. So, yeah, there's only 4 games today so far in the NBA. So, yeah, give me Hawks, Celtics, Nets, and T-Wolves. Tuesday. No, that's not till tomorrow. So more of the NBA Cup, that's not going to be till tomorrow, which let me check up on what the standings are. I think the Pacers are still undefeated. Not the Pacers, Pistons. Aren't the Pistons undefeated still? Yeah, Pistons are 3-0. Bucks are 3-0. I don't remember how the seeding goes. Hawks have clinched with 3-1. Rockets have clinched with 3-0. Ooh, the Lakers have been eliminated from the NBA Cup. Sad they won't repeat as in-season bubble champs. All right. Then the Warriors clinched too. Warriors are probably going to win the NBA Cup. No. It's probably going to be kind of like how last season was, where it's the team that's hot at the time, i.e. the Lakers were hot at the time, and then the Pacers were also hot at the time, which is why they went for the East. So I would say we're looking at it. The Magic are a hot team right now. The Pistons are a hot team. The Hawks are a hot team. The Rockets. Okay, so it's probably going to be Rockets Hawks, maybe in the NBA Cup. I don't know. Those we'll get there a little bit later, eventually. Okay. Um, let's go over now to the NHL games. Again, this is totally. Please tell me there's games today. Oh, sweet. All right. There's only 3 matchups today. Again, another quiet. It's probably just because it's Monday, and there were games all throughout the weekend and stuff. So that's why there's probably a quiet Monday. Plus, I think there's an unwritten rule. I don't know, between the leagues where it's like Monday during the football season's for Monday Night Football. You know what I mean? I might sound crazy on that, but like I've never seen where okay, we have a Monday Night Football game coming up, but we need to compete with TV ratings because the biggest NHL game of the year is coming up at the same time. I've never seen that ever. Okay, but enough of me yapping. The 3 NHL games today, they're going to be the Devils at the Rangers, Blackhawks at the Maple Leafs, and then the Stars are going to go to Salt Lake and play Utah. Devils have been on both teams, respectfully, I would say Devils and Rangers have had their hot streaks, but then they've been on a skid recently. I'm going to pick the Rangers in this one. And then the Blackhawks and Maple Leafs. Let me just double check some things about the Blackhawks here real quick. No, I'm going to pick the Leafs. And then for the Stars versus I was about to say hockey club and sound like an idiot. But against Utah, I'm going to pick the Stars. Stars were one of those teams that I had being a dark horse Western Conference final team, where honestly in the preseason kind of like I was leaning towards a Rangers Stars Stanley Cup final, but we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. I don't think I'm going to be able to predict the season kind of like how I did last year. But give me those 3 teams. And then for Monday Night Football tonight, I think it's Browns and not Bucks, because Bucks played the Panthers the other day. Who's the Denver Broncos? Right. Okay. Is this going to be at Mile High? Yeah. Cleveland at Denver. Over-under is 41.5. Broncos 6.5 spread. I think this is gonna be a low-scoring affair because look at this. Browns have a top 10 defense. Broncos have a top 5 defense. They're third. The Browns are 9th. Denver's 3rd. Passing, both are in the 20s. Rushing, Browns are the worst rushing team. Browns have the worst offense. Broncos have the 23rd worst offense. So I think this is going to be one of those games where it's like, oh my gosh, it is 10-13, 9-12 headed into the 4th quarter. Like, I know Bo Nix has been on an absolute tear lately, and statistically he's been very impressive. And then Cleveland had their game last Thursday, the Snow Bowl game against the Steelers. That was really impressive. But like, I don't know, like Monday Night Football, national TV, I don't know. I just, with two high-powered defenses that are both top 10, like this just has the makings of being a brutally ugly game that's very low scoring. So I'm going to stick with that. Yeah. Okay. Then, so we're done. Okay, we're done with our NHL picks. We're done with our NFL picks, NBA picks, and okay. So we've done all our picks. So now let's transition because this is something that everybody's been talking about lately. Everybody's been talking about the firing of Ryan Day and how it's time for Ryan Day to get on Indeed.com and try to find a job. I think it's a bit premature for some of, I don't know, just some of the, it's not outlandish, but like, let's not forget that Ryan Day is probably one of the most successful coaches in Ohio State history. Like, is he one of the greats? No. Until he wins a national title, he won't even be in that conversation, because that's a conversation for a totally different time. Because there are two goals, at Ohio State, and they always talk about it, is you got to beat the team up north, and then you got to win the national championship. It's plain and simple. Ryan Day's record against Michigan is now starting to get really loud and glaring, where it's 1-4, and everybody talks. There's that counter where, well, his record against Michigan might be 1-4, but look at his record against all other Big Ten opponents. I think it's only one loss, and I don't think that's counting the Oregon loss, because I wouldn't count the Oregon loss as a Big Ten loss, because Oregon's not a Big Ten team. They are a Pac-12 team. Like, the conference realignment is just for TV revenue. We all know this, but I think the only Big Ten team that he has lost to was, I believe, Purdue in 2019, or was it? It couldn't have been in 2020, because couldn't have been in 2020 because they went undefeated in 2020. They went 6-0 to go to the national championship, and they couldn't get it done against Bama. But Bama was just a totally different juggernaut that season. But regardless, counting on my hands, like, for the last 4 or 5 seasons, his biggest losses were the national championship against Bama, Michigan, all those years. Then they lost to Georgia on a last-second field goal. Like, that's on your kicker. That one's on your kicker. That Peach Bowl was an instant classic too. So you can't, C.J. Stroud did all he could. Harrison Jr., he did all he could. Like, that game was phenomenal. But all I can count during the regular season is the Michigan losses, and then that one blip in like week 2 of 2021 where Oregon came into the chute and upset them. I think Mario Cristobal was the coach, I think. Was the running back like Travis Dye or something? Like, this was all the way back in 2021. This was before Dan Lanning got there to Oregon. So Buckeye fans calling for his head and for him to be fired, I think is a little outlandish, because who's going to replace him and have that much productivity, like, on the gun and just running straight out of the gate? Because the transition from Urban Meyer to him was so smooth. Like, look how many Big Ten titles they got to. 2. It was actually only 2 now that I think about it. It was 2019 and 2020, because I haven't been since. But I mean, for them to be calling for his head right now is a bit much, because I mean, with how the college landscape is now, where there's a 12-team playoff, you can lose a couple games. Do I think Ohio State's going to be in it even after losing to Michigan this weekend? Yes, they were the number 2 team in the country. They're not going to drop out of the top 15 altogether, not even have a shot. Like, TV ratings, revenue, money, all that. Like, as much as we hate on Ohio State, we're going to want to see Ohio State in the dance, because we'd rather watch Ohio State lose a close one to, let's say, Indiana, or who else is probably going to be there? Georgia, Texas. I'm trying to think of, did I already say Oregon? Like, we'd rather see Ohio State lose one of those close games than throw a team that's, I mean, a lot of people are making a case for South Carolina to be in there, but we'd rather see an Ohio State loss than South Carolina having to play Oregon and then getting blown out of the water, because Oregon is just such a better team than the Gamecocks, like, overall. Like, we'd rather see that, or we'd rather see Ohio State lose than watch Boise State just get absolutely throttled in the second round. You see what I mean? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Like, if you ask me, I think both Miami and Ohio State, they're going to make it. They're going to be the 11th or 10th seed. Like, there's going to be some seedings, but again, we have to wait for conference championship weekend to get over, because I think there's just a little bit more craziness to happen. I don't think, because you got to look at it too. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit kind of hinted at it a little bit after the Texas A&M game. What if Boise State loses to UNLV? Are you going to let UNLV in over Boise State after everything Boise State has done this year? I mean, there's a little bit of craziness that might happen. Plus, what if Penn State shocks? I don't personally think Penn State's going to be Oregon, but what if Penn State shocks the world and they win the Big Ten championship? And Penn State's like the number one overall team. Just because if Penn State, because if Oregon wins the Big Ten championship, they're going to be outright the number one team. Whoever wins the Big Ten championship game will go into the college playoff, the number one team overall. The team who wins the SEC championship will be number two. Depending on what happens to the Boise game, I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I think Ryan Day, he's not going to get fired. His days are not limited. So it'd be ridiculous for them to fire him because he's fine. He's a good coach. If anything, I'd say the fall guy would probably be Chip Kelly, and they'd probably have to try to hit the transfer portal again for another quarterback because wasn't their roster one of the most expensive rosters too? It was like a $20 million roster, and they couldn't get it done against a 6-win Michigan team. So I think that's pretty funny. But if there is going to be a fall guy, it's probably going to be Chip Kelly. They don't have to worry about Will Howard. I think Will Howard's. I mean, I don't think Will Howard has any more eligibility. Same with Judkins. I think Judkins has one more year. But like Henderson's probably going to go to the draft. They still have Jeremiah Smith for a couple more years just because he's a freshman. But if freshmen could declare for the draft, him and Williams from Alabama, they'd be gone in the first round. So leave it to Ohio State. They're going to be fine. They're just going to reload, buy another quarterback, buy another roster. And this time, I think there's going to be a lot of anticipation for, Thanksgiving weekend in 2025 because that game in the Big House is going to be must-see TV. If Ohio State is 11-0 and Michigan's, again, 7-4 coming into that game, it'll be must-see TV again because it's they've lost 4 in a row. Hey, remember how there was a little brawl, skerfuffle at the end of the game? Let's see what happens this time. So, Ohio State's going to be fine. Michigan's going to be fine. It's fine. All these teams that are oh my gosh, we just got a slap on the wrist from our athletic director and our, head liaison or our college university president or whatever, where it's we got to pay this little fine. It's oh my gosh, no one, it's rivalry week. There's been a lot of pent up emotion and aggression all freaking season because these guys have had to do it for 14, 15 weeks. That's not even including the summer and some spring ball. So some guys have been on the grind since March, April, earlier this year. And they're done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, expect a little bit of, some brawls at the end of the game because it's freaking rivalry week. So, there's that. All right, then lastly, Ohio State, I think they're going to be fine. It's all just a fart in the wind. This is all going to blow over because Ohio State's going to get in the dance, and they're probably going to go pretty far. Because there's the other side of the coin. Sorry, I know, I'm yapping again a little bit more about Ohio State, but there's that other side of the coin where typically, yes, after a big loss, teams come back more fired up and ready to go. To have to play Ohio State after this loss would be very detrimental, I'd just say. I think whoever they play, whether it's Tennessee in the first round, whether it's because Notre Dame clinched the 5 seed. Notre Dame is going to be the 5 seed. So whether who else was it? SMU was down there with Notre Dame, and then it was Georgia against Tennessee, and then who is at the top? Miami, and regardless, wherever they're seated, like, you better watch out because Ohio State's going to have to come to your place, and we'll just see. But we know the committee is going to make a good game out of it, so expect some good matchups. All right. Lastly, let's talk about Trevor Lawrence's hit the other day. Aziz Al-Shair, late hit, blatant targeting. A lot of people were talking about, it wasn't intentional. Bullshit. I mean, there's a little bit of malice, and no, malice might not be the right word, but it's like some defenders are a little psycho. You got to be a little psycho to play football and stuff. But like defenders, when they make hits, like there is a little bit of intention behind it. Like I don't think Ray Lewis was ever holding back when he was trying to hit somebody. Brian Urlacher, Clay Matthews, like Ed Reed, like they don't just lean into somebody and it's like, I didn't really mean it. No, like this is football. Like it was a late hit. It was, pretty brutal. Like because we saw the fencing position. Trevor Lawrence froze up. I would say my only takeaway, yes, there was a brawl, and the commenters were like, we hate to see it. No, we love to see it. I think what's even sillier than the fights and the late hits is what the hell is Trevor Lawrence doing in the game? I mean, the Jaguars are 2-9. Punt the season away. I'd say the same thing for the Jets too. Like, there's no reason why Devontae Adams or Aaron Rodgers should play another snap this season, because same with Sauce, same with Garrett, because it's like season's over. They're 3-9. The Jaguars are now 2-10. Like there's no reason to play another game. This season is over. Mathematically, you're not going to get into the playoffs. The Texans are going to stumble into the playoffs, kind of like how the Bucs were a couple seasons ago, either with a losing record or barely one game, 2 games above 500. The Jets couldn't. I think the Jets, with the Bills winning the AFC East the other day, are mathematically eliminated. I think the Bengals, with their loss, are mathematically eliminated too. So it's like, what's the point in trying to trot your guys out there when y'all have been mathematically eliminated? So it's like, it sucks that Lawrence might have a concussion. I haven't double checked on it, but he probably does have a concussion. So it sucks that he's probably going to be done for the season. But at the same time, he was injured. You had Mac Jones in there for a couple games. He sucked enough, which is why they probably threw him back out there. But you guys are in position to go get a top draft pick, go get a lineman, go get a defensive player, go get weapons for Trevor Lawrence, or hell, just like I think Trevor Lawrence actually could benefit from a Baker Mayfield situation, or yes, I'll bite my tongue with this when I say this, even though I don't fully support it, but like a Sam Darnold situation where he gets a new change of scenery and he flourishes a little bit more. Like, I think Jacksonville was doomed from the get-go for him anyways, just because it's like, it's Jacksonville. Jacksonville went on one good run that one time in 2018, and they have not been able to repeat. Terrible coaching, terrible management, terrible, all from the top down. And after that Monday Night Football's Bills game, like I did say, like there is video of me saying, we're a couple more of these type of blowout games away from having a serious talk about, hey, should we just blow this thing up, try again? I think it's time to blow it up and try again. Like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is necessarily one of the worst quarterbacks, because he's not. Obviously, there are so many more quarterbacks he's better than, the Gardner Minshew and O'Connell. Like, I know I'm just strictly picking on the Raiders or picking on the Giants, who just got rid of, Danny Dimes. But he's probably 15. He's in that 15-20 range of top quarterbacks in the league. And Doug Peterson's a shell of himself. So yeah, I think he could benefit of getting because you got it, this is kind of like the Seahawks situation with Russell Wilson. You either keep Russ or you keep Pete Carroll. You keep Doug Peterson or you keep Trevor Lawrence. And you just try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Because if we were kind of where the Jags were back at the beginning of 2023, where they're losing the divisional game against the Chiefs, and we like build on that kind of roster and build and go from there, maybe we're talking. But that Jaguars team is like a thing of the past. That's probably never going to be touched again for a while. So I don't know. I don't know. An overreaction would be, hey, let's just blow up the team because they stink. But yeah, I definitely, there's some definite tough talks to have. I think you're in the position to go get a top draft pick. You got to go get it. I think it's kind of silly that the Panthers have been trying to win games and Giants have been trying to win games towards the end of the year, because it's like you guys are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Now you're just losing draft capital. Like, you think Shador Sanders is your next guy? Okay, go get him. You think Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, like these top prospects in college, you guys think these are the next grades? It's like, why are you guys winning on Sundays when you can just clearly tank to go get them? Like, it's so silly. Like, honestly, it's freaking silly. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my crazy kooky opinion on that. But that's all I have for today's little yap session on live sports. We're going to do probably just a reaction later tonight after all the games are said and done. But I thank you guys for watching. Try to catch you guys. I'll write down some more stories. We'll see some more stories as things develop. Like this morning, I just barely saw that Christian McCaffrey is injured and he's done for the season. 49ers are in a real pickle right now because they're 2 games back. Well, actually, after the loss to the Bills, I think they're 3 games back from the Seahawks. As crazy as it might sound, I think the 49ers should punt this season too, because if you get into the playoffs, you have to be the road team from here on out. Now, we have seen road teams go on a run. Think about the Giants who upset the Patriots. Think about the 49ers last time this happened. They went into Lambeau, beat the Packers. They beat who did they beat the week before? I think they beat the Saints? No, I can't remember who the 49ers beat in the wild card, but they beat somebody, but then they beat the Packers, and then they lost barely to the Rams back in the Super Bowl 56 playoffs. But it is what it is. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's been injured all year. Ayuk's out. Kittle's been touch and go. Trent Williams is out. I mean, I know these 5 players don't make up a whole 60-man roster, but as we saw the other day, man, was it pretty depressing. Like, we have Amari Cooper shuffling the pass to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, just being an MVP type player and just walking all over the 49ers defense, and then the Bills defense just smothering that 49ers offense, and they have nothing all game. So I think these are the teams that you'll have to play if you want to win the Super Bowl, because we know the Bills are Super Bowl contender. It's a stretch to say, but yes, the Packers are a Super Bowl contender. Who else have the Bills lost to recently? Who did the 49ers play? Anyways, regardless, it's like they don't have home field, so they'll either have to go to Detroit, they'll have to go to Philadelphia, they'll have to go to Tampa. They will have to go somewhere, and they'll have to be the road team the whole way out. And considering how many games are under 500, considering how reliable Christian McCaffrey's out for the season, I don't know if it was a knee or Achilles, but just wave the white flag. There's no shame. There's no shame in waving the white flag. Now, if they keep running this thing and they sneak, because can they beat the Cardinals and can they beat the Seahawks? Obviously, yes. They can win the divisional probably with a losing 8-9 record, like the Buccaneers a couple years back. But it's like that game 1, against the 2 seed, which will be the Eagles probably when it's all said and done in Philadelphia. 49ers against the Eagles. It's like, it's going to be brutal. Like, Saquon's going to run all over that 49ers defense. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to stop the video here because now I actually do have to start getting ready for work. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching. This was a fun stream. I'll try to catch you guys later, okay? Peace.